Okay, everybody, I am freaking thrilled to have Stella Orange with us here today. She might be one of my favorite human beings on the planet. So, Stella, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
We're going to have some fun talking today about words and copy and emails and all kinds of juicy stuff. And just to give you guys some context, Stella Orange, that is actually her name. She is the founder and creative director of what else but StellaOrange.com, which is an agency that helps coaches and online businesses nail their message and get their writing projects done faster, bolder, and more profitably. Who wouldn't want that? As a teacher, she shows her students how to craft their money-making message and find their voice so they sell more online with a quirky human touch. Love that, Stella. You're so awesome. So we're going to talk today about a bunch of stuff, but what I would love to start with is, how did you get here? And why do you believe in teaching people how to write better?
Because it's really fun. No, first of all, thank you for having me, Ellie. The feeling is most definitely mutual. I got here through a back door. I actually was a classroom teacher and a nonprofit worker before I started my company. So we'll go back 6 years ago. I started Stella Orange Wordsmith. And the way that I got there was through a love of writing. And I used to write plays for the theater, and I got into performance, I got into improv, and I've been one of those people that always loved writing. And so when I decided to start my own company, I said, what are my skills? What are my passions? What am I really good at? And I was like, okay, writing's it. And so I actually started writing copy for other business owners. I wrote websites, I wrote promotional emails, brochures, all of that stuff. And as I started doing that work, I noticed not long after that so many business owners were really petrified of the writing piece in their business. And so I was working with people who were dynamos. They had all of this charisma when they're on the phone with me, or they're out, they're speakers, they're authors, they're coaches. Like, when they're working with people, they are just spot on. But there's something about sitting down at the computer and facing that damn blinking cursor that causes people to kind of seize up, and their personality kind of dries up or goes away or shrinks back. There's a fear or a worry or a withholding there. And so that's how I got to the teaching piece. I'm actually trained as a high school teacher. I have my master's in teaching from the University of Washington in Seattle. And I just was like, geez, I can combine the skill set of this love of words and writing with actually being able to help business owners find their voice in their writing, so that they can align who they really are when they're with clients one-on-one and when they're on stage, align that with how they're representing themselves in their writing. Because for many people as business owners, there's a disconnect between how they're showing up in person and how they're showing up online. And for the students and clients that I work with, that disconnect, they can feel it in their bodies, and it drives them bananas. And so if I can help a business owner find his or her words to express themselves with more sass and balls and huevos and confidence, that magnetizes their ideal clients to them. So
absolutely. And I'm sure everyone at this moment is going, oh, I see why you love Stella so much, because it's kind of a similar thing that I see with people when they're on camera, how they completely lose their ability to be themselves and to bring out their personality, and they're so much more focused on what they should do or how they should be. And I think that stripping away of that and actually being able to embody their full personality is so key. And so you do that with writing as well, and it's so freaking awesome. One of the things that I love that you don't shy away from is the fact that you help people be able to get over the ickiness of sales. And can you talk a little bit about how you do that and why you think people think it's so icky to begin with?
I used to think sales was icky, and I'll never forget my first year of business. One of my mentors was like, okay, now is the part where you reach out to people for sales conversations. I was like, I got so mad. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm a writer. I'm not a salesperson. The strength of my work stands on its own and will cause throngs of people to flock to me. And while you can build up that sort of cult of personality and cult following, when you start out, that's not enough. And so for me, I think my background in the theater really plays into my understanding of how copywriting works. It's much more theatrical than I think a lot of business owners think about. And it's a different way of presenting oneself and engaging an audience. And so that's one piece of it. And then the other piece is really about relationship. And because I'm a writer and I've had the experience of writing blogs, writing letters, writing short plays, and actually seeing them performed, it was very easy for me to make the cognitive leap to the fact that the words I'm putting on the page are actually getting distributed out around the globe, and they're connecting with other human beings. And so for me, it's not just about sales, it's about service. And it's about connection. And I freaking love people. And so if I'm just sitting saying, okay, like before I write an email, especially when I was really nervous about doing it wrong when I was starting out, sit and be like, I'd say a prayer. Please let this message find the person who needs it today. And that's my tip for everybody that's feeling a little nervous. I mean, we can get into the specific mechanics of writing emails that people like to open and read, but from like a soul perspective, take your focus off of yourself. And as you were saying before, like how it looks, or, you know, are you going to make an ass of yourself in front of lots of people? And put your focus on your audience and that one person who really needs to hear about turning their life around, or getting back out in there and dating, or opening the bills that have been piling up on their debt, whatever it is. Like, what I like to tell my students is consider yourself the beacon of possibility. And you may be the only person who sees that people can have another possibility for themselves in their lives versus what the status quo is and what's showing up. And I'm a goofball and I'm totally silly, but I take that role very seriously. Like, I see my work supporting business owners supporting this army of people that are out there doing whatever their specific industry or niche is, helping other people change their lives for the better. That's badass. And when you have that energy flowing through your veins, like, people want to be a part of that. They want a piece of you. And so that's, to me, it's not about sales and conversion and like magic power words. Like, that stuff's not important to me. What's important is human connection and being a spark who then causes this ripple effect through your audience and through the general population.
Yeah, and I think you're so right. If people, when they are in that mode of feeling fear or feeling like they're going to be judged for whatever they're writing, if they think about connecting to that one person, it can shift everything. It's so huge. So let's talk, I want to go back to something you said about copywriting being a little theatrical. And let's explore that a little bit. What do you mean?
You gotta entertain the good people. One of the biggest mistakes that I see business owners making is, say in a promotional email, when you're trying to persuade people to click on a link or sign up for a program or a session. The biggest mistake I see is that they just say, here's the program, thud. And write this super boring, super fact-based description of the program, which you do need to understand, like, what's in the box of your program or your offer. But that's actually work that is clarifying work that you do as a business owner behind the scenes to understand what the heck you're promoting. Once that work is done, you actually need to stop, and I call it like putting on your translation hat and say, all right, here's the thing. Now, in the minds of my ideal clients, why do they want that? And so it's like you've already done the work of understanding what it is, but now the second piece is, why do they want it? And that translation hat is you stop looking at it through your eyes as the business owner and start looking at it through the eyes of your customer base and your audience. And really thinking through, like, okay, well, what's their thought process on this? And if I were in their shoes, what would I need to hear to really say, man, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and I want to hop on that? And so for many of us, myself included, this is translation work. And we work as business owners to We work very hard to get clear on what's in the box, what's part of our program, which is absolutely, it's again, an essential step. But the theater comes because if you only give people straightforward fact-based stuff, you are informing them, but that's not effective from a persuasive perspective. Right. You're not persuading people by giving them the facts. Persuasion is a seduction. It's an emotional experience. And many of us business owners, we're such smart turkeys that we're like thinking and cogitating, and many of us have advanced degrees, and so it's all head stuff. And to actually move people to action, we've got to drop down into the rest of our bodies and write from emotion, write from heart. You know, when I write with love coaches, there's other parts of my body that tingle. We've got to give people some feeling, some real feeling, and not the thin gruel that a lot of people send out in their emails. I'm so excited. I'm thrilled to share this with you. It's like bullshit. Like you're following some stupid template. You know, like we've got to get real emotion in there, and that's theater. Like you've got to get in touch with your emotions so that you can move other people to feel things and feel that sense of possibility.
So what would you say is one thing that people could do before they write their next email that would get them more into that place?
Yeah. Think of your ideal client. Mm-hmm. Pick one. And you need to know this. I do messaging work with a lot of my clients as the beginning piece. Mm-hmm. I call this the triangle of love. So if you think of an isosceles triangle, I can't believe I just said the word isosceles.
Isosceles, I love it.
Think of a triangle, and there's 3 points to the triangle. There's message, there's strategy, and then there's writing. And for many business owners, they jump straight into the writing, and they haven't given a thought to the message or the strategy behind it. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing a little bit of messaging work with you right now so that your writing can be stronger and more effective. And the message piece is, one of the 6 elements of a money-making message is, who's your ideal client? And the fastest way to do this is to think of someone that you've worked with who you're like, man, I love working with this person. And then just make a bulleted list of 5 things, and it can be demographic things, or it can be psychographic things. So it could be, this person is 37 years old, she is a doctor who is also married to a doctor, and they want to have kids, and they need to start saving for college education and having babies, right? So that's your ideal client. If you've worked with clients, just pick shorthand. Okay, that's my client, Sally. And then you think about Sally. And if you haven't worked with clients yet, you're just going to imagine what your ideal client would be like. It's probably somebody you already know, but just pretend that you've worked with them and they were a totally awesome client. They did what they said, they did what you told them to do, and they got great results and they were so grateful, and they told all their friends about you, right? Like that's the kind of client you want to be working more with.
Totally.
So you think about Sally, you figure out what her 5 points are, and the shortcut to writing a great email beyond the mechanics of the email is to actually get a picture of Sally. Or you can get it in your mind's eye, but I've actually had clients post a picture of their client besides their computer, and just think about, okay, whatever you want the person to do in your email. So I want Sally to click on this link to sign up for an initial session with me, say. Think about if Sally were sitting right beside you and you were looking at her and you guys were connecting and you're having a good time, what would you say to her about this offer or this opportunity? And really quickly, there's a basic pattern that undergirds all sales writing, especially for emails. And the first is open with a hook. Catch their attention. So if you and Sally are sitting together, what's the first question you would ask her? Or what's the first thing that you would say to make sure that you're getting her attention in a noisy world? Secondly, from a hook, then you want to think about, well, okay, what can I say about the topic that draws her in, that interest piece? So you catch her attention, you say real briefly, this is what I'm talking about, this is why it matters. Then you move to desire. Why does Sally want this? Why is it in her best interest to take you up on this invitation? And not don't make it marketing language. Make it like, if Sally's super smart and you guys are buddies, she's not only your client, like you actually like her and she's a friend, how would you bottom line it for her?
Yeah.
Like, here are the 3 reasons you need to do this. 1, you've been spinning in circles for the last 3 months. 2, in a 20-minute session, I'm going to get right to the heart of the matter and help give you a suggestion for how to move past it. And 3, you're also going to get a plan to move forward faster than you ever have before, and you're going to leave the call feeling like you know exactly what your next steps are, and with the confidence that you can actually take those next steps. They're totally doable. Mm-hmm. So hook, interest, desire, action. And that action is, what do you want her to do next? And again, you just want to make this conversational. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to tell Sally to do something, how would you say it? And how would you make it kind of tantalizing so she actually wants to do it? So simply click on the link to sign up for your complimentary session with me, and we'll get you started on your path to greatness in no time. I mean, I'm making this up, but that's 2 tips. 1 is just understand the structure of a promotional or persuasive email. And in this example, we're walking you through how to invite people to do initial sessions with you. And then secondly, write to that one person and really just strip away everything that you've been taught by the marketing gurus and just focus on that connection like you would if they were sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, I love that. And you've got an awesome way of sharing and making everything fun. So I know that people will want to get more from you. And I think you put together something just for our audience that they can get a little bit more of Stella. Who wouldn't want that? Because there's also this sense of, you can write a great email, but you've got to get people to open the email first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing I want to point out is that this is a skill, just like any other skill, like public speaking, like balancing your checkbook. Who does that anymore? But you have to practice it. It's like a muscle. Mm-hmm. And if you believe that you've got to be perfect at it before you start, you're dead in the water. Right. This is a muscle that only gets exercised by putting yourself out there in the world. And there's certain lessons that you can only learn by getting out onto the skinny branches and taking a risk. So I'll just say that. That's my philosophy of this. I love it. That said, I do have a free gift for people that are interested in learning more about how to get more people to open your emails. It's a 13-page PDF, and it's called How to Get More People to Open Your Emails.
Shocking.
And it's basically a list of tips that I've put together that I use, that I teach my clients, about how email marketing really works. And this isn't sort of the stuff that you hear on the mailing list that you're on. It's about relationship. It's about what realistic results are. And it's also, there's also, how do you write email subject lines that catch attention? Because I know this is stuff that for many smart people, they're like, I'm a great writer. I have no idea how to write a freaking email subject line. Mm-hmm. So I put that together, and that's for you guys. It's totally free. Check it out. But it's my best tips on getting people to open your emails and be really excited about reading your emails. Because we all know there's a lot of people out there with email lists. So how do you become the person that your audience faithfully opens and reads and listens to? That's what it's about.
It sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. Thank you so much for being here today, for sharing with us, for getting us thinking about how we can be more theatrical in our copywriting. I'm now so excited. I'm going to go write 5 emails. I'm so excited.
My job here is done.
And we are going to have a link right below this video so that people don't even have to go anywhere. They can just pop right down to that link and get your awesome free tips from us. So thank you so much for being here, Stella. You're amazing. Love you. And I'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Ellie.
Bye.